whoever's going to beat him, the person's not there now. So I don't know if they're developing them at NXT or it's one of these athletes that just signed up to be a Dwight Howard. I don't know who it is. They're not there.
What is going on, everybody? This is Dr. Chris Featherstone here for yet another episode of Writing with Russo, brother. Yeah. Very nice, man. How are you, my man?
All right, man. What is happening, Chris?
Man, listen, we got some stuff to talk about, just like we do every single week. This week, we're going to talk about the next premium live event. It's not even called a pay-per-view anymore. It's called a premium live event.
Is it really premium live event? Well, yeah, that makes sense, bro, because for the WWE, there haven't been pay-per-views in ages.
Correct.
So I like that. Okay, I don't mind that. Premium live event. I got to remember that.
Yep, premium live event. I'm old school, man. I'm so used to pay-per-view. You know, it's a pay-per-view. Call your local cable company, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, premium live event. That's a thing now. That's their way that they the pay-per-view caliber events for their network television. So yeah. So the next PLE is Clash of the Castle in Cardiff. Is going to be their big UK event. Similar to like Clash of the Champions. They used to have, Clash of Champions, but now it's Clash of the Castle. So the big match for that, as a result of Drew McIntyre beating Sheamus on an episode of SmackDown. Actually, it was a pretty good match. Drew McIntyre is the #1 contender for the WWE Undisputed Universal Heavyweight World's Championship of the entire galaxy. So the two belts, Drew's on deck. So my question to you, Vince, right off the rip is, should Drew McIntyre, after over 700 days as Universal Champion, over 120 days as WWE Champion, 4-month reign as WWE Champion, 2-year reign as Universal Champion, this 2-month build of making Roman Reigns unstoppable. He actually hasn't been pinned in nearly 3 years. Should Drew McIntyre be the guy to end this 3-year terror streak of Roman Reigns?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Bro, you know what I'm starting to relate this to a little bit? Honestly, Taker streak.
Okay.
I'm going to relate this a little bit to Taker streak. And no, bro, listen, I'm the biggest Drew fan on the planet. I like Drew. Seems like a heck of a nice guy. I think he did my show once. Great guy, bro. I mean, really deserving all those things. This has nothing to do with any of that. Again, bro, this goes back to the booking. And there was a period there where the Drew McIntyre went through the 50-50. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, man, you lost a little luster there and that's got nothing. Drew ain't writing this stuff. Drew's doing what they tell him to do. But in my opinion, he lost a little luster there. And that does not warrant him beating Roman Reigns. And I think it makes Reigns even bigger and better and stronger to defeat him in his hometown, in front of his people, because now you're going to start asking who's going to beat him. Because I'll tell you right now, Chris, whoever's going to beat him, the person's not there now. So I don't know if they're developing them at NXT or it's one of these athletes that just signed up to be a Dwight Howard. I don't know who it is. They're not there. Bro, there is nobody I am seeing on either roster that is there. Yeah. So I'm sorry, bro. Until that person shows up, they should not take this belt off of him.
Okay, Vince. You and I, we see eye to eye quite a bit, man. We disagree on a few things, not many.
Right.
We're kindred spirits, Vince.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one only because everything that you said is true, is absolutely true, and you and I would talk about this every week about the just gross failure that the WWE has in building a star, a top babyface star. They try to do that with Cody. They really drove him down, our throats for a little bit. Unfortunately, he got injured. He won't be back until next year. So, right now, as far as the top babyface that seems halfway plausible to dethrone Roman Reigns.
Plausible ain't good enough.
Plausible ain't good enough, and I agree with that, but we have to play the cards that we're dealt with. All right, so the cards that we're dealt with right now is Drew McIntyre and Bobby Lashley, in my opinion, are the only two people who are plausible to beat Roman Reigns. No one else makes zero sense. And to be honest, it's like Roman Reigns and like Drew and Bobby Lashley is still a sizable gap there as far as just star power is concerned. So, with that being said, if I had my way, Bobby Lashley, and I've said this before, if I had my way, this is how it would go. We'll get into theory as well. I guess I'm jumping the gun a bit here. If I had my way, Bobby Lashley, Theory's going to try to beat Bobby Lashley one more time for the United States Championship. Bobby Lashley says, okay, I've given you 2 chances. This time I need you to put the Money in the Bank case on the line. So either you're going to walk away with the Money in the Bank case and the U.S. Championship, or I'm going to walk away with the Money in the Bank case and the United States Championship. So what happens is Lashley beats Theory at Clash of the Castle. He gets the briefcase, and Drew beats Roman. Roman beats Drew at Cardiff. Lashley comes in, cashes the briefcase. Lashley beats Reigns to dethrone Reigns. If I had my way, Lashley would be the guy to dethrone Reigns.
Let me tell you exactly how this is going to go down.
Mm-hmm. But before you say that,
hey, Chris,
I think Drew should be the one who dethrones Reigns, because that most likely won't happen. That's too good to be true.
Yeah.
And I think that we still need that moment from 30 years ago footage, SummerSlam, Wembley. We haven't had that in 30 years. I've said that before.
Chris, at the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. Business. So I'm going to tell you this. Unless there's personal reasons that we don't know about. In other words, unless Roman wants time off. Because that could very well be the case. I don't know. He's had a long run. He could be the one that says, you know what, man, I need like 6 months. Like I need a break. Unless that happens, okay, to me, from a business point of view, it's real simple. Because the 2 guys you just named were not the draw that Roman is when they were champion.
True.
It's that simple. So when we look at dollars, cents, draw, money, Lashley and Drew McIntyre, who were champions and got a taste of it, did not have that same drawing power of Roman Reigns. So that's why, unless Roman wants a break, wants to do the favor, wants to disappear for 3 months, I don't think there's any reason in the world that they're going to take that belt off.
To be fair to Drew, though, I think there was a moment where he did have drawing power. I think that
moment.
Yeah, there was a moment.
And again, not his fault. Let's make
Yeah. We both said that.
Fault.
Yeah, we agree with that. Yep,
right.
Absolutely. And yeah, we see eye to eye on that one. Absolutely, for sure. There was a time in, like I said before, Royal Rumble 2020. It was right before the pandemic.
Yes, I agree.
It was a stadium show. It was arena show, I believe.
Yes.
It was a stadium show. And he eliminated Brock Lesnar. And that place went absolutely bananas.
Right.
When Drew McIntyre, that was one of the most memorable Royal Rumble eliminations in the history of the series.
I agree.
So that moment, unfortunately, was very much dampened by the pandemic. I mean, Drew was the pandemic champion, and there was no fans. There was the Thunderdome that definitely didn't have that same feel. So unfortunately, Drew got bit by the pandemic bug because he was the guy who was the pandemic champion. And he feuded against Lashley, he feuded against Seth, he feuded against Brock, of course, Big Show he had a match against. And so there was a lot of moments there where he was, Orton was another person who we feuded against. He just really carried the WWE for the better part of the remainder of the year in a season, unfortunately, that people really didn't, it just wasn't there as far as that energy is concerned. But I think he's still kind of recovered from that, although people are like, yeah, Drew's, the way that they were booking the pandemic, it was hurting Drew because it was kind of diluting his momentum. And then again, I say what really hurt Drew was when he lost cleanly to Roman Reigns. He had so much momentum. He was still hot, but he just gets choked out by Roman Reigns on Survivor Series. And I'm like, that right there, that lost it. And then he goes back last year and he loses cleanly to Lashley because you actually called that Lashley was going to win, and I was like, no, there's no way. I mean, they're building Drew. Lashley's going to be a transitional champion, beating the Miz for the championship. That was his first reign. It was transitional. Drew McIntyre is going to win it at Mania. No, he lost to Lashley. That really jacked up his momentum too. Now he's got the sword gimmick. There's a lot of things that they're doing that's really not helping Drew. I think for the moment's sake, I can see him winning, but I think they have a lot of work to do to really build him up with the momentum that he had a couple years ago.
Bro, those one or two booking mistakes can really, really, really set you back, and you can't erase it. And again, Chris, I'm just going to emphasize this for the 50th time, 100th time, maybe 1,000th time, maybe. This is why stories are so important.
Yes.
Because when you have strong stories, bro, you don't have to be people clean.
Yes.
There's always creative ways to get out of it, because when you beat them clean, there is, you and me sitting at our home saying, well, he just kicked his butt.
Yes.
And you don't forget that. But again, Chris, that's what lack of storytelling is, man. Austin, Taker, all of them were losing during that time, but the story dictated how, and it didn't hurt them, bro.
Yeah.